Thank you, Becky. Much appreciated. Alright, I need to hopefully not have my iPad disconnect 1,000 times like it has been for the last 20 minutes. Oh, God. Oh, Christ. Sorry. It's too hot. Okay, you're not hearing a bunch of Discord baboops, are you? Just double checking. I should have it turned off. It's their Jormathy. Man, this poor raccoon. Like, I'm very excited that everyone's in love with him. That's awesome. You know when Mudang got famous? And then they, someone broke into the zoo exhibit to go and, like, harass her? I'm like, this is a raccoon just on the street. Why is it not? I'm just worried people are going to kidnap that poor raccoon. Alright, multi-chat does not seem to be working. That's fine. Alright, we're not working on Jormathy though. I just put Jormathy up. We're going to work on a creature design for Subnautica. I could do this one. I started this in May because I was like, ooh, I'm gonna get a last second mermaid done, and I did not finish him yet, but this is a little weird squiddly diddly mermaid. Well, not squiddly diddly, squiggly diddly. I don't know. Bethany. Okay. Da, 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 da. So we have a reference board down here, which I need to actually put where I can see it now. God damn it, I can't stop yawning. So I was looking at my reference board that I made, and I had a few things I wanted to add to it, but I think if I do that, like some of the things I wanted to add were more deep sea stuff, and I have a feeling that this game, if it, with the concept art it has, if it just kind of let them run wild, I'm gonna have to revisit Subnautica 2 because I think it's going to change. Like, once you get deeper, there's gonna be whole new critters. So I don't want to completely... You stayed home from work sick? Oh no. I hope you're feeling better soon. Hi, Vector. I was like, I was supposed to do this stream Friday, but for those that don't follow me on social media, on Blue Sky for the most part, I acquired a baby squirrel, and I had to do something with it. My dog found a baby squirrel at like 1 in the morning, and luckily she didn't attack it or anything. She was just like, there's something here. Why am I hearing double hap? Oh, because I have desktop audio so that I can hear the music too. I'm like, why am I getting every redeem you get or you take will be double for me? So thanks for that. Alright, so we're gonna organize the reference board a smidgen.
Hello!
Of course you're gonna go with the bean. Alright, I'm gonna enlarge this for now. So we could go over a reference board from last session a little bit. Okay, so we got the bobbit worm and the antlion. So part of the reason I wanted to go over it was I wanted to discuss some of the things I was realizing when I was looking at it again. And oh yeah, so the squirrel. Anyway, long story short, it was a very, very brand new baby squirrel. Like no fur or anything. It was pretty much dead. I had to run it home, heat it up, got it like doing okay. Called our local rescue immediately. Local rescue was like, we don't take squirrels. So then I had to kind of scramble trying to find a rehabber. I had to drive 3 hours out to find somebody that would eventually take him, but took me 15 hours to find somebody, and in the meanwhile I had a squirrel that needed pretty much constant care. Because yeah, squirrels can't really like thermoregulate, so I had to keep heating up stuff so that it wouldn't a little sock full of rice and had a little space heater so that it wouldn't go hypothermia or get hypothermia again, which is what it was pretty much had when I found it. But yes, I finally delivered it to the rescue, and then they had this little number where they're like, you could call or email us and we'll let you know how it's going, and they have not answered me. The rescue was kind of gave 0 fucks, it seemed like. But yes, I ended up with that's how I ended up with this. I ordered like the milk and everything because I was talking to rehabbers trying to find somebody and nobody was local, and they're like, they're not that hard to take care of, get this milk. Oh, don't want that. So like I ordered all the stuff to take care of it just in case. But yeah, now I understand why people end up with illegal pet squirrels, because they don't make it easy to find someone for them. Oh, is this the same? That's the same heart crab. Yes, that was where my Friday went. My Friday went to a squirrel. Alright, so back to this. So yeah, so I realized while I was... I'm gonna put some siphonophores over here. While I was like thinking about what I wanted to do for this game, I was like, they have all these things, like almost all of their designs have some kind of squid element in them, or cuttlefish element, but they don't have a squid or an octopus. And I think from a game design element that's intentional, because that's a significantly different thing to animate than like a basic fish swimming. It's a lot more work. So that's why I think you don't really see tentacles, except for on the big squiddly diddly at the very end after the audio cut out last time. Yeah, for those that weren't for the very end of the stream, the audio, my headset died, and then somehow that meant the audio completely stopped for stream. Yes, so this may not be the most exciting thing right now, but this is how I organize my reference boards for when I use references. I don't always, usually when I do a creature design, I don't always start with a reference board. This is usually for a project that I do that, and I try to actually have this step be second. Because I like to get thumbnail sketches out before I do reference boards. Because that way you can draw something and not be like immediately inspired by it and be like overly referencing something on your board. So it's kind of like getting down your first thoughts instead of I can't really think of what you consider the alternative to be, instead of being influenced, I guess. So once I get this organized, I'll probably actually minimize it for my first few minutes sketching. Like, usually I would not even be doing this, but with how we're doing this series, going through the game, making a reference board, like, this is something that I want at least stream to have access to. And I needed to organize it, because it was chaos. Alright, because yeah, I was thinking about, because we have the decorator crab up here, and I was thinking about adding, there is another type of crab that puts sea anemones on their butt like a hermit crab, but it's a deep sea crab, so I will save them for probably revisiting Subnautica at some point, because I'm hoping they have a whole new biome of critters once you get deeper. Alright, so who do I have? I have the parrotfish up front. But we like chaos. You wanted me to leave it as a giant pile of overlapping images that you can't make sense of? We'll put this treasure shark up here more. I was thinking about what I want to design. There was also like a deep sea... Oh god, I keep double clicking. Apologies if you did not want to get a close-up of an antlion. There's a deep sea, like, it's adjacent to an isopod. But yeah, that was another one that I'm going to save, but it had some really cool scaling. But I was thinking, this is my one annoyance with PureRef, is if you accidentally do what I just did, and you double click. So let's look at the siphonophore. Alright, so now I'm zoomed in, which is nice, lovely ability, right? But now, if I want to get to the point where I have all these, I spent all that time making my images fit in the window perfectly, but now this is, I'm either too far in or too far out. This is where my scroll wheel puts me. It snaps to these two positions. I wish it would snap back to the original position you were in. It's like my one big grievance with this app. I love this app. I've used this app. I was a hipster for this app, and then I used it before it was, like, known. But yes, it is a nuisance in this respect. Okay, so, unless anybody wants to look at anything closer, I'm going to scooch this down a little bit. I'm going to start drawing. Have you tried hitting spacebar instead of the scroll wheel? Does that just give you the full window? It does snap to a different increment, it looks like, but it's still not perfect because I can't see my bacteriophage over here. Alright, I kind of want to put, debating what I want to put front and center. Full window, and also have to have something selected, and we'll zoom into that. It is full window. Alright, we'll move the Dunkleo, Conch Air. I love this. I love this picture so much. It looks like a Star Wars looking mother effer. Alright. We're gonna save it. I'm not gonna mess with it for now. Oh, I forgot this. I'm gonna scooch the window down. And now, I need to scooch it out of my view a little bit so I can try drawing. So I was thinking that I want to do... Let me know if my train of thoughts just jump from one thing to the next, please. I want to... Can I minimize this? Minimize? Oh, that's because I locked you big, didn't I? Okay. It should not be minimized for you. No, it minimized for you! Damn it! Never mind. I'm just not gonna look at it. Okay, so... I have to figure out what color palette I want to start with. I have a bunch of random color palettes right now. Nightmares might be a good one. Some of them are saved from, like, particular projects I was working on. Wormwood, I need to rename it because this is when I was doing the deck for Wormwood, and they have kind of, shit the bed a little bit. Alright. Set is active. Okay. Alright, I usually start with something dark. So I was thinking that I want to... I probably want to do something that's more of a grazer, because they don't really have much for grazers that are big, besides the giant crab. That was the other thing I noticed. So there's no squidbillies because of the animation difficulties. There's also, like, there's crabs, but there's 2 of them, and they're either very tiny and hidden in the grass, or buried under the ground most of the time. So I have a feeling the crabs were also a stress point for animation. So I'm kind of, like, technically speaking, I shouldn't, you know, if I was just doing this as fan art, these would not be restrictions I would put on myself to not have tentacles and to not do, like, too complicated of parts for animation. But I'm trying to do this as if I was working on this project, making something for this game. So we're gonna start with, I just use my marker brush to kind of do some. Procreate doesn't really have like good like lasso tools. So I tend to use a lot of how people are instructed in Photoshop is to use lasso tools to like, I could try to, I'll try to do it in Procreate. But people are usually taught to just like color fill. Like, let's just do something very basic here. We're just gonna make a jelly. And it's like, that's pretty much how you would do it in Photoshop. But the lasso tools are not as good in Procreate. So I tend to use the marker brush instead, because it kind of works the same. Right? And that doesn't work the same way, but it kind of has the same feeling. So, thinking of how to do this with having it be not too difficult to animate, be a big grazer. There was a creature that I had in mind for a different project that works a bit like, you see the deep sea sponges? I might actually add that to my board real quick. This is the other thing. Your board should not stay the same. Like, you should have segues that you do, and then all of a sudden you change, or you know, you'll change tactics. That's an okay thing to do. So here's like a deep sea sponge, and look at that texture. That is a fabulous texture. Now, obviously, I mentioned before that I'm trying to avoid deep sea a bit because I think I'll come back to this game and there will be like a deep sea biome. At least that's my hope. But it's not a guaranteed. So I want to at least kind of like pin them for now. This is from the Nautilus live feed, by the way, which, if you want to ever get like a really good feed for reference, look up the Nautilus live feeds. Like, look at this. That's a sponge. Also, sponges are kind of fascinating. They were pretty much like the first, like, sponges are kind of the reason we all exist. They literally, when they came into existence, they changed the acidity and oxygen levels of the ocean itself, and essentially paved the way for more multicellular life to live besides it. So we owe a lot to sponges, and they're very basic, but damn are they cool. Alright, I had to make sure this isn't AI, but this Venus flower basket glass sponge. So it's the sponge's fault you have to answer emails? Yep. Look how cool that is. I'm definitely using that for something. I don't know if I'm using it for this project, but I'm using that for something. I'm trying to remember if they over-oxygenated the ocean or if they made the ocean so basic. I can't remember. Not... You're probably thinking, yeah, basic. No, see, this is an AI image. That's an AI image. Freaking everything that's Adobe stock. I'm trying to find the one I'm specifically looking for that I was like, this is what I had in that mind. There it is. Okay, so this one looks absolutely fascinating. But this is a, I'm trying to remember the specific name of it. But each of these is like a sticky filter feeding. Yeah, this one's called the Death Ball Sponge. Just in case you thought we weren't going to nerd out. We're still gonna nerd out. Deep sea sponges. Freaking fascinating. You're all like, what is wrong with you? Everything. Everything is wrong with me. Yes, so here's another image of that. This weird-ass carnivorous sponge. So who did we... I covered up something. What did I cover up? Squidbillies. That's fine. We got the cuttlefish over there. I know enough about squid anatomy. But yes, if we look at this closely... Yes, nerding out over weird critters is the point. Thank you very much. Thank you for justifying... Alright, this image I saved wasn't that great. That's why I wanted to find another one. But if you look at this, look at the little cilia. And then this is its whole purpose. It just catches gunk. It just catches gunk. Because yes, the deep sea, a lot of stuff just survives on the snowfall, which the snow is essentially just particulates. Like dead matter that just plots down to the bottom of the ocean. And then occasionally there's a whale fall, and then everybody has a buffet. Alright. But yes, we've added some deep sea sponges. I like the death ball. Oh, wait, night! If it gets any warmer today, I'm gonna have to pull out your gift from last year. But gee, okay. So anyways, so I brought up the deep sea sponges in here because I'm thinking about doing like I want the filter feeding aspect of it. Or at least that's kind of, if I do that, that is me making something for a monster manual that I've been, or a tabletop RPG campaign. I might pivot to turning it into that eventually, but I had an idea for a filter feeder for that forever ago. So this was slightly reusing an old idea. An old idea I haven't drawn yet, but we're gonna plop that over there for now. Hide those so we can actually... If I want to do something that's a bit more epic looking, though... So I was thinking they do have... I guess I forgot, there was another crab. There was the propulsion crab, which we didn't look too closely at, because if you get too close to it, it like, flees. But, that that one I think. So there's a lot of things that use like a propulsion method. That's the basics behind squid movement. There are, I think, some sponges also kind of rely on that briefly. Or am I thinking nudibranches? Don't quote me on that. I'm not totally positive. I just know that there's a lot of things that when they're in their I'm pretty sure it's a sponge because sponges go through a larval stage where they're just kind of free floating through the ocean. And when they're floating, when they're like free floating, I'm pretty sure some of them rely on propulsion movement. So okay, so this one, but I don't know if we want to go full like sedentary or sedentary. Is that how we say the word? I can't think today. I don't know if we want to go full that or if we want to try sedentary. That's how we say that word. Or if we want to, because there is like, the game does have simplified forms, very squid based, and like color blocking would be what I would say next. So I'm not sure if I want to. I might kind of try to do very simplified crab, just because it is one of the bigger forms, and it seems as if the bigger a form gets in that game, the more biomechanically complicated it becomes. I don't know if that's intentional. I'm guessing it's just because when it's bigger, you can put more details in. That's just kind of like the way design goes. Not necessarily in real life. There are some very hyper complicated, like, tiny things in the world. But, you know, a game only has so much resolution you're gonna see stuff in, so. So, if I'm thinking, I'm kind of trying to take that hermit crab mentality. I want to move it to over here. If I move it to over there, it's gonna essentially start looking like a jumping spider. Which isn't a bad thing. I'm just not totally positive if that's what I want to do. So I'm going to duplicate this. Do that. Like, a jumping spider is... There's a reason spiders and crabs look very similar. So what I'm doing right now is I'm thinking about making, like, because there's obviously the big marrow breach predators, the mangoes is what they call the other thing. The annoying little biter assholes. So I'm guessing, or it's gonna have to have some kind of, because, alright, the biggest herbivore that I've seen, or not herbivore, but, like, non-aggressive, like, hyper-carnivore. I mean, it could be a hyper-carnivore without being something that would eat us, but, look at, like, baleen whales. But that thing buries itself in the ground to avoid the predators. So this thing needs to have something to avoid predators. Might just make this look more Squidbilly-ish. Yeah. Pull in some of that vampire squid, but there's also... I should add this to the board. We keep doing this. That's an okay thing. Come jelly! If you've ever seen the movie Abyss, you'll know where it took its inspiration from. Let me see here. From this, a comb jelly. So I think I'm gonna go more towards that for the booty. I'm gonna move this snail down here by the conch eyeballs. Let it peek up. Okay, so that is where I'm thinking about doing that. Now the question is, I think I was thinking back in the game, I think the big ram head guys, I can't remember what their names are, but I think they're considered, like, not technically, I think those are more based on parrotfish for how they're eating, because they're just trying to break apart coral. Unless they're meant to be trying to predate on the giant crabs underneath. Rammer heads. Yeah, I have no idea what they were called. It's like we could kind of... Now it's kind of getting into... Now we're looking like the Ghost in the Shell robot. Which I can't remember his name. The one with the cute anime voice. See, did we make the Ghost in the Shell robot? A little bit. Is it Tomo something? Oh yeah, Tachikoma. Like, I do like this, but I'm trying to think of how I want to make this look less like a Tachikoma now. Alright. And also, it does need to be... We're probably going to actually reference the, disturbing conch face. Part of it is the color. Yeah, that's true. The color is neither here nor there. I usually like I just start with something dark and like not hyper saturated. This is not what I thought I was grabbing. Alright, I'm kind of tempted to go tardigrade face. Why not? Why not water bear? Another thing to add to reference board. God, whenever you see the images of them, they're so... Alright, now I gotta find one that's not AI. That's definitely AI. That's a baby sloth? Adobe stock is useless now. Holy crap. Oh wait, nope. Oh my god, they're so cute. Look at his little weird body. I love their little claws. They're so tiny, but like, those are some pretty complex claws. Oh yeah. Also, apologies if you're hearing me eat grapes. I was like, grapes have got to be a silent food I can snack on. I don't know about that. Yeah, no, the internet is on a death spiral. It's fine. Everything's fine. Nothing's wrong. Okay, so this one is a possibility. I'm going to erase that part because if I keep it in there, I'm going to be very tempted to make this look like a mammal. At least there's Jimothy. Yeah, though I have a deep concern for Jimothy that I'm like, he's too famous now. Some influencers are going to like mob him and he's going to end up running into traffic or someone's going to straight up kidnap him. I have concerns for Jimothy. Leave our local cryptid alone, please. Leave Jimothy alone. But I'm so very happy that, like, I kind of hope he keeps being an icon because I will take anything over Stoner Bigfoot. Also, how much time before Henry just starts drawing nothing but Jimothys? And then he's gonna have Stoner Jimothy everywhere. For those that aren't familiar, good. Alright, so this was a possibility. But I'm gonna put that away for now, because I feel like I should still develop one where I do the opposite side. Just because it will be a different body type. Like a more unique body type. I'm trying to avoid. The problem with me drawing digitally is you get to see me spiral my damn screen around all the time, and I'm trying to avoid doing that. Sorry. Sometimes it's just force of habit. Because I'm sure that's very annoying to see visually. It's like not necessarily something I want to stop doing, like personally, because it definitely helps. It's like the old rule in art school where they tell you to flip your canvas. Nobody say what this looks like right now. Okay. I'm trying to see if there's like, because the angle on that doesn't necessarily... Actually... That's not what the angle was. I'm trying to think, because if the way I'm thinking about this and we have some jet propulsion, it would need to... So it would generate force down, but then that would, but down and forward. So I'm hoping that would essentially rebound up like that. I am not that great at physics. Yeah. Just trying to see if I can make a way to make it not just be. Maybe I should just have it be flexible. Flexible's not terrible. Alright, now, for what do I want to do with the head on this? I kind of keep gravitating towards, I should add this to the board. Even though I know what they look like, so I'm like, I don't need to do that. Please turn off that. No. Manatee. Oh, precious, precious manatees. I love them. Alright, so since I'm thinking about more of a bottom feeder, herbivore kind of thing, but I also had the filter feeders. We're doing all the feeders. But I keep thinking of the downward positioning of a manatee face. I'm gonna squish you over here over top of the bacteriophage. I don't need a bacteriophage. No! Spacebar! Good call, Art Viking. Okay, so let me see. Oh, I know what it. Okay. Nope, we got another thing we gotta add to the board. And once again, top image AI. Everything's fine. Nothing's wrong. My job has never been easier or more fruitful. Okay. Sea pig. Zoom this in real quick so you can see. Goofy looking thing. I'm thinking these mouth thingies. These mouth thingies. Alright, sorry. Tardigrade, we're gonna shrink you down a bit because you're not as relevant anymore. That's what I was saying. Your reference board will be very flexible. It's looking a bit like Bulbasaur. Nah, possibly. Why? Well, I was hoping I could find a close-up image of a sea pig's weird mouth pits, but instead I've just found 1,000 images of AI pig mouths. So, thanks, Internet. You're not ruined. Right now it's kind of backward facing, so it will become a little less Bulbasaur. Oh god, I have to, hold on, I gotta mute a Discord. Somebody is having a day and making us all know about it. That makes me so mean. There's one person in one of my Discords who is always having a day. And it's usually very... I love them to pieces, but so much of the stuff they complain about is just like crap in their head. They're like, I'm so fat and ugly all the time, and they're a very attractive, perfectly skinny person. I know it's that body dysmorphia, but I'm like, my god. Every day. Alright, so I might run... Okay, we're gonna do something different here. We're gonna get rid of the jet propulsion booty, I think. Also, don't be afraid to, like, chime in with opinions and or questions. I'm totally down for answering stuff. Or just chatting about stuff. This is an excuse to nerd about animals. And biology. Or talk about concept art process in general. Okay, so this is getting very bug tardigrade. Which I don't want to do too heavily. Ah, no, totally understandable. Like at this point, I work the weirdest hours known to mankind because I always hand my stuff in at like usually at like 5 in the morning, but my sleep schedule is back to being royally effed up between the squirrel and my mom having a largely manufactured crisis at 5 a.m. the other morning. So I think part of the way... Right now, this is a very cute face. I might just save this layer for something else. But it doesn't quite fit in the game. I'm probably going to change up the music station that Pretzel Rock is currently on, though, because I'm too tired for this. I'm so sleep deprived. They have a metal track. Alright, I'm a little curious. I want to see what the metal one sounds like. I don't usually put metal on stream because I feel like most people don't want that, but I like metal. You're fighting the gnat monsters. See? Okay, it's also just that it's hot, and when it's hot, you want to sleep. Right. Keep in mind that this is pretzel rock metal, so it is whatever they could pay. So it's not going to be like, we're not going to hear Iron Maiden or anything on this. And I turn it up a smidgen. Is that too loud? Let me know if things are too loud or too quiet. Trying to think if I can. Like, I was like, okay, I gotta continue with the squid motif. Squid is referenced in almost all their designs. Now the music does have a tendency to influence how you're drawing, so that's a little you'll be curious to see what this is going to lead to. Not necessarily how you're drawing, but what you're drawing. Okay, I'm trying to think of how I want this to work. I'm gonna probably just rapidly test out a variety of booties here and then erase them. This is starting to look like a roach. So it would be funny if they put into the mechanics of the game the fish that lives in the sea cucumber's butt. Like, oh, I could do 2 creatures for the price of 1. I could have this giant lumbering grazer, and then give it a protective Semi-parasitic. Buttfish. Apologies for anybody this might gross out. Nature is weird, yo, okay? Sometimes there's things that are disturbing yet fascinating. Okay. I'm trying to remember if... Yeah, there is... I was like, there are fins in the game. They're just like long... They're almost like very angular dolphin. I'm kind of thinking, not fins. I think this is more of an eel. Grass eel. But an ass eel. I'm sorry. I thought it and I had to say it. My brain went there. I make some apologies. So yeah, I might do that. I kind of like that as an idea. I feel like it would actually be a fun mechanic in the game. Like I'm talking like this is actually in the game, but it is fan art. But I'm gonna treat it like I was in the game. I'm gonna treat it like I got hired for Blue Sky Phase and they're like, we need some herbivores, give us some fun things. Not herbivores, but, you know, something besides. I do think it's a little... Alright, I don't know if I want to do it on that side or if I want to do it on this back side. Do we want to hide the ass eel? Or do we want to hide the face? I kind of want to tap into this Siphonophores tentacle shakies. Also, I'm kind of, obviously I'm working this one up a little bit more, so it feels like I'm gravitating towards doing this one, but I will quick pull out all the other ones, make like a board, kind of show like what we came up with all together in there. I want to put like want to build this up a little bit more. Like, I don't want to call in too much to the other big crab that has, like, the whole shell that's built in with the coral domes. Very hermit crab, decorator crab combo. I don't want to put too much stuff on the top of this to make it look like it's going to do the same thing, but I should probably give this thing a little bit more space to hide its head. Might be fun to kind of do some nautiloid almost shapes in here. Do a little bit more. Change proportions on this leg just a smidge. Just because it's visually more interesting to have them be kind of, you gotta think of, they call it like the golden ratio, but it goes by the design element of, I'll put the eel in there. It's like, ooh, perfect proportions or whatever, but it's like, ooh, no. Following the spiral and everything. But anyways, the reason I bring it up is, it's both for design shapes, it's put into application there, but it's also, I believe the golden ratio is based mathematically, I think, off of, is it Fibonacci sequence tied to, or am I talking on my ass eel? Okay, so yeah, the very first thing on DuckDuckGo is this golden ratio and Fibonacci the same. So yeah, okay. I'll put it in the disc or the referencing so we can see what I'm talking about. But this is essentially the shape of a nautiloid shell, which nautiloids are living fossils. They have been around for forever and a half. They have changed in like the amount of tentacles and everything that they have, but they're so old. So, but the reason I bring up the Fibonacci sequence is that it kind of also counts, besides like the ratio of how you design things, the mathematical equation of the 3, 5, 8, that is kind of how you want to apply your features. It's like your small details, your medium details, and your large details, and you kind of break it down by, I think most people go by like, what is it, 30, 60, 10? Or 10, 30, 60? But that's what it essentially means, like, I'll have to draw this over here. So, like, we keep this one smaller because we want it to be 60% the size of this, and we want this to be, like, we want to keep that ratio down, so, like, the next one would be, like, each is getting progressively bigger, or small, or, like, we try to increase. I'm really bad at explaining this. But you don't want to go like just straight double or straight like you don't want even features across the, and you also don't want like having everything be half as small or twice as big when in comparison with each other. You want them to be that golden ratio. Just because golden ratio is in nature a lot. It is everywhere. There's a reason why it's the golden ratio. But I was like, I had it written down. I know I talked about it during my like Lightbox critter design talks. Okay. So I'm going to... We have that one. We have that one. Group these together. I'll probably go back and do one of these simple ones. That one kind of tied into the one we just did a little bit. I think this one. The other one is like too simple, and also probably just something I'll end up using for. It's too close to what I was going to do for my. Brain fart. It's too close to what I was going to do for my tabletop RPG. Which that creature I want to just be a very simple filter feeder thing. And while I'm sure the game could use a very simple filter feeder, that's not necessarily what I want to do. I mean, if that was my job, I'd be totally happy to do it. But, like, I'm kind of doing this as, like, a fan-arty thing, so I do... I guess if I was to do more than one, I'd probably do the simple and a complex one for my own joy. Somehow the metal is not helping me stay awake. Metal too soothing. Exactly. The metal is too soothing. It's just hot. When it's hot, all you want to do is nap. You're falling asleep to this right now? Vector and YouTube is saying that they are also falling asleep. How are we falling asleep to metal? Okay. Let's try. Your AC kicked on at 8 a.m. today. I am not surprised. last night when I was working. We're switching to chiptune and seeing if that will work. But yeah, usually I like turn off all the ACs and everything, and then I just work with like the door or the back door open. It did not. I walked right at like 1 a.m. and it was still oppressively hot. Your go-to wake-up music is Sonic. Nice. Yeah, I was about to say, chiptune music is like usually very like upbeat and kind of. I don't know. This is not a great example, this particular song. This particular one is a little... It's also almost done. They're all pretty short. Also, my iPad is getting warm. I like want to have a big like filter thingy. The other option would be, for music, would be there's like there's an upbeat dance music station. But I have a feeling that will be so like inane that I will slowly go mad. Like most popular dance music is already inane, and this isn't popular dance music. This is whoever was cheap enough for Pretzel Rock to buy. Unpopular dance music. Yeah. It was right there. It was right there all along. Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna smush the running concepts all into one sheet. Alright, chat. Do we have strong opinions on any of these? Ooh. Oh, fuck. Get up for a hot second and move. Hello, Night of Me. Oh, sorry. Oh, taking a stretch break. How are you? We've been thumbnailing out some stuff. When you're traveling, I go to... Oh! I can't fall asleep. I don't know if I've ever fallen asleep in a horror movie. I just usually put on a YouTube video. But I'm one of those people that I can't really fall asleep unless it's like silence. Tort Snail Bulbasaur. That's your vote, Vector? Which I think is B. Full of spaghetti. Alright, so we have 2 votes for B. For the Ghost in a Shell Rabbit. B is for bunny ears? Yeah, I did give it Nudibranch ears. Wait, that wasn't a ranking? Oh. I was like, I put up the 3 thumbnails that you like see, but oh, you like a... Well, like I mentioned White Knight, there is one of the creatures for my tabletop RPG setting is going to be pretty similar to that. Found Nudibranch cross-stitch pattern. Nice. You were just making things up for what you saw. Oh, okay. Alright, because, well, people were saying it will look like Bulbasaur before, so that's why I thought you were voting for B. Alright, so we have a C, we have a B, we have 2 Bs, possibly 3 Bs. To be or not to be? You might also be a Bulbasaur enjoyer. Okay. You guys are making this not any easier. Is it showing both chats on Art Viking is also B. Alright. I see y'all just afraid of butt eels. He did. Nobody voted for ass fish. I'm a little saddened by that. Wow, okay. I don't know why my volume got really peaky there. Sorry about that. Alright, we'll squish these. Do a group. Nobody wants an ass eel. Joke's on you, I'll just draw something with an ass eel later! Alright, I'm switching to standing up so I can maybe wake up slightly bit better. If I can get my...
Oh, that would just be so bad and so painful. Oh, I'd hate that so much.
That is an accurate reaction, so... Okay. I do need to go through my, my box. Or my alert box, and figure out what... Like, some things definitely broke and changed, and I haven't looked at it in a hot minute. Okay. You await future ass fish? Well, it's not right now because y'all didn't vote for ass fish. You voted for this. What the heck was his name? What was his name? Tachikoma. You voted for this Tachikoma looking at motherfucker. Alright. Flattery will get you somewhere. It was more peaked than Tachikoma. Doesn't Tachikoma have little ears? I know they gave him something to, like, emote. But also, I have not seen Ghost in a Shell in a very long time. I probably should have saved a copy of this before I did this. Alright, well... Little grabber arms. Okay. Is the chiptunes keeping people awake better than the metal was? Seems to be working a little bit better for me. Also gotta turn my fan up. This is a little too bright. Alright, so we're just gonna fill in. I'll see if I can do this in a way. I call it my cheats and hacks way. It's not really cheats and hacks, but it is a way of rendering something nicely faster. It's just essentially using luminosity layers. It was something I never got taught, and then I was like, figured it out one night, and I was like, oh, this makes my job so much easier. And then I brought it up to like some of my other concept artist friends. I was like, did you guys ever learn about this? And surprisingly, no. And I'm like, why isn't this a thing? Like, this thing is going to have definitely several areas of transparency. But we're not gonna do that quite yet. I want this kind of like solid for now because I'm going to do stuff that I need to be able to select the whole thing and not have the background in there. Essentially my luminosity layer hack. I mean, I'll show it later. Provided things don't... I don't always render that way. it kind of, the piece will decide for me usually, but this is something I do a lot when I'm concepting things. Is I'll put a flat, or not a flat, but I'll put the colors down. I guess it would kind of be like the flats. And then I do luminosity layers. I do multiple of them. And then that's how I render in all the details. It's just straight luminosity layer. I think I have a little... Let me see if I can find it real quick. I made a thingy when I was showing my, I was showing my concept artist friends when I was like, did you guys do this? The question is, what the hell did I name it? Stuff is for that's iCager, which is I love iCager stuff. If you ever want somebody that's a master at rendering color quickly, look at iCager. Okay. Don't know if I don't know where I put it. I'll just have to show it. I was like, unfortunately, most of the stuff that I have it on that I could, like, open up the file and show what I'm talking about is NDA stuff, so I can't just go to that. Is there a random live audience in this chiptune thing? Now, as for the colors, I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I know a lot of people like to start with like a very specific color that they're going for, or color choices, or color palette. I don't really do that. I just kind of wing it. And it seems to work. What the hell did I save that? This is gonna bother me that I can't find it. Quite possible I never actually put it on my desktop. And explain why I can't find it. Up or down, too far. I'll see if I can find it during, like, I'll probably take a little break here in a little bit so I can grab a snacky and hook up the unheaty thingy. Yeah, that's the word I came up with. Unheaty thingy instead of little air wind. What is it? It's not an air conditioner, but it's close to an air conditioner. You fill it with water and it blows water on you. I'm normal. I know words. Uh-oh. Okay. It's the thing White Knight graciously gave me last year when we had a bunch of heat. Mystified. Nice one, Rayland. You're way more awake than I am. Alright, so this one's gonna have like a little bit of tardigrade face. I'm thinking actually probably a little bit more manatee. In that there's like little curtains of so there isn't really like fleshy guys in Subnautica, so I can't. I hate this. This is some new thing that there's something about me touching that makes my screen. You say that, but you can and have made made puns in my sleep. What? Is there recordings of this? My friend Luis does ninjutsu in his sleep. And there are many recordings of that. You must lurk for a bit, but you're loving the direction so far. Well, thank you! Enjoy the lurk. No, I dream them and then flick them upon people when you wake up? Oh my god, that's just... that's evil. So the funny thing is, you'd think I would dream of like monsters and cool shit when I'm sleeping. No, I think of them before I fall asleep. To the point that I don't want to go to sleep because I want to get up and draw them. No, when I'm asleep, I dream of like getting lost in like a Chinese pop-up market. Or my mother showing up to one of my shows and complaining. I dream of the most mundane shit. If I want to get to one, we could still do the little sea bear or sea pig. You could still make them all tentacly. I might do something like that. We'll see once I get more to that point. Alright, I need to think of how to do this where it's not... Because they're only really, like, completely soft thing in that game is the poor little dudes that you suck the juices out of for water. Nah, not that. So I do need to have, like, hard bits. Hard bits and soft bits. I will duplicate it at this point. Do some blending. I like to duplicate it because sometimes those like little color swatches are nice to pull back in later as like an overlaying layer, just to kind of focus in some of the colors. Now, also, at this point, I might separate the legs. Yeah, I'm probably gonna separate the legs. Not necessarily. Alright, so I keep the legs separate so that I can focus on making the body in here. And then, that isn't, if it was just like a one-off illustration, you wouldn't really have to worry about that, but with concept art, oh, you don't necessarily have to worry about it then either, but I've noticed it usually goes over well if you think ahead, because you may be asked for it. And then, even if you aren't asked to do that, to have like the body and the legs be separate, it really depends on who's your modeler, like how confident they are being able to interpret your design completely without like... If you're working with a vendor, you're gonna have to separate stuff usually. But, if you just do it from the get-go, then you look more impressive when you hand it in. This has been a Tired Audrey trip. Yeah, oh my god, I can't talk today. This has been a Tired Audrey tip for being a good concept artist for your gerbs. Oh my god. Nobody should ever let me speak. Now I gotta get rid of this leg in here. But that's why we do it now, so it's not a pain. Because if you wait till... If you don't do it, and your job is all like, oh, the vendor doesn't understand what the shapes are underneath this, can you make it separate? Then it's way more of a pain in the ass. So you just do it from the beginning. And make it just like a peacock feather. I don't mind that. That might be a motif from the final. We'll see. For now, it's getting smudged out of existence. Just because this booty is jelly. I'm going for more of a comb jelly booty. So we need soft forms, soft edges. The only thing that should be like a hard edge should be like a highlight. Now, the thing is, when you blend stuff in, you are going to have to come back through and kind of re-pop some of the colors. That's why I have had to teach myself to not blend everything. That was kind of my Achilles heel for a while, was I would just blend everything. And I'm trying to think of something I've done. So, like, I'm starting to get to the point where I'm just getting better at layering and not blending, or like getting the shading without blending. Like, I think. Yeah, so like this one has very little blending in it. It's just color layering to get the colors to work out. Versus, I'm trying to think of where's the older one. Okay, this one's old as shit right now. It's still an idea I need to finish. That's why I have it in here. But like this one, I've over blended. Yeah, I've over blended most of it. Like the shell's okay, but I definitely have a tendency to over blend. Where is this? Yeah, see this one's... I do trend to switch up, like, mediums I use, so this one's all pencil. Or no, I think I use pastel brushes with that one. This one's oil brush. Yeah, this one's the oil brush, which I never really use the oil brush, so... Jornathy was an experiment. And then this one was... marker brush, which is what I'm using right now. It looks rough and unpolished, gotta blend. It looks like Vaseline, gotta add texture. Oh, okay, it looks rough and up. You're talking about the constant cycle. Yes. Like, I've learned, I think, at this point, that it's okay to blend in, like, the very beginning, but you have to watch out for muddy colors. And then... I usually try to avoid blending now, or that's, like, my newest thing is trying to avoid blending. Instead of blending, just figure out how to layer colors so it works. That's my new goal, I guess. It's like that Telemundo announcer. I know there's lots of Telemundo announcers that go gold, but there's one that in particular sounds like he's morphing into a hound dog. Instead of being bad at art, just be good at art. Is that what you're saying my feedback is? I'm genuinely not trying to do like something like that. I'm trying to be helpful-ish. See, by blending this, I took a nice purple and I lost it, so I'm gonna have to pop that back in. Not at you, that's just how it feels sometimes when you're trying to improve. Oh, yeah. That's why I have to rage a little bit. I know I've mentioned this to, like, White Knight, but it is so incredibly frustrating that I have gotten so much better at digital rendering since, like, God, just since my Netflix time. And it's just in time for the industry to completely nuke itself. Yep. It's like I have hope stuff will rebound or rubber band back. Hopefully, because my goodness. You just keep finding out worse and worse things about what AI is doing to people. But honestly, some of the like cognitive stuff that it's doing to people, like just straight up cognitive impairment, I have a feeling the tech companies want that. Because it's like being shown to actively destroy people's decision-making processes. Like, I think, what was it? People are twice as certain of themselves and like 4% is accurate or something. Yeah, exactly. I think what it used to be was, the term "I don't know." Like, people, like, a few years or like a decade ago, people were fine using "I don't know" like 40% of the time when doing this quiz. And now that ChatGPT is around, people only were saying "I don't know" 2% of the time, but their accuracy was down like 90%. I'm preying on the fact that everyone's burnt out and exhausted. Yeah, it's very true, because it's like trying to, whatever, the protest the data center and everything. It's like, oh, which, hellfire are you going to protest today? Because there's 10,000 of them. I might be getting a little too distracted by making this comb jelly butt. I also need to make Jornathy an emote. But I need to clean him up first. I need to do a bunch of things. I have a list. I don't keep up with the list, but I have a list. I also made tea, and I have not been able to eat the or drink the tea. Now thinking of the butt laser bugs from Starship Troopers. Oh, I totally forgot about the butt laser bugs. I've been thinking I need to watch Starship Troopers again. Yeah. The last like 2 weeks. Okay, somebody made one from the game. They were based off of like bombardier beetles. They had a tanker bug. Oh, that movie is wonderful. I love it. Nobody. So many people like it for the wrong reasons. It's like Fight Club. It's one of those where if you see it as a favorite movie, you gotta be like, you gotta question. Okay, we gotta stop focusing on this booty. The booty is fun, though. The booty will continue in future installments. I'm trying to remember. So right now it doesn't really have eyes. We could make these eye stalks. Make you regret your bunny ears. Sorry, dogs are dogging. Just amused by the sound sampling in this song. We're gonna go and reference the terrifying conch eyes a bit. Now we need to have the spiral in there. It's not creepy enough unless there's a spiral. Uzumaki this shit up. on this layer. This is my one annoyance. I can tell on the layers that there's something hiding out here. There we go. I'm not totally positive if I'm keeping that eye, but maybe. Alright. I might kind of, instead of erasing this part up here, I might make it walk more like a ground sloth. I'm essentially thinking like it's a crab leg, but that the topmost area locks back. I should have probably duplicated this before I did this, but oh well. I wanted to add crabby, gnarly bits there, but it doesn't make as much sense there. Have I safety saved recently? So here's the fun thing. This is Procreate, it autosaves. If I really want a safety save, all I need to do is go out to the gallery and it saves. That is slightly, it has messed me up once, in that, like, I accidentally hit. So, like, there was one time where you know, I'll do something and I'll crop it down. Like, I'll go through in this and I'll be like, alright, I only want this one concept, so I'll crop the image. And, so then I'll save it. I'll, like, go to save a JPEG up here in the wrench. But I've accidentally hit gallery before. And then it goes back and then I completely lose, like, all the history. So I can't undo my crop. I can't remember what I did that on. I did that on something. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, no, I wanted to scream. It's like, usually, the saving is fantastic in Procreate, except for that. Alright, I'm going to toss out an idea. Just looking at my reference board. I don't know why I did that. It might be easier to do it that way. I'm not sure. We'll find out. So on the reference board there is a flower mantis. Or not flower mantis, an orchid mantis. And I'm kind of realizing that that might actually work better for if I'm doing this guy as a little jet propulsion booty here. Those proportions or those limbs would work way better for jumping, essentially. No! Zelda. Wait, quiet step. Wait, quiet step. Yeah, there's audio. Did audio just cut out for you guys, or is that just me? I don't know what it's doing. I'm hoping it doesn't do what it did last time where it just dies and the audio clips out. I'm debating if I want both the legs to do it. Possibly. This song is reminding me of, I can't remember their name, but there was like the nerdy video game like rapper. What the heck was his name? Okay. Do I like these legs better now is the question. I'm just realizing that I've never posted on social media. I was going live. Oh well. Alright, I don't know if I like those legs better. I'm indecisive. So the more I draw them like this, the more they are starting to look like that kind of rocket crab that they had in there. don't want to get too close to that. I'm just gonna play around with shapes now. Try to do something crab, but not totally crab. Slightly different than crab. I kinda like. Blend this head real quick because I'm like, this is getting too hard surfacey. I think this is gonna end up having to be all soft. Yeah, I think this is gonna end up having to be soft. Maybe I might increase this this shell back here to like extend up here so that the head has somewhere to retreat to. Maybe. We'll see. Thanks for hanging out, White Knight. Good luck with your 5 o'clock thing. Crab legs look good? Okay. So wait, you talking about these ones? Or these ones? How are they steamed? How dare you? Segments? Okay. Thank you. Yeah, it's like I am liking these more. They are differenter. I gotta make sure they don't get too close to the jumpy guy. Yes. Thank you. Have a good night. That's not going to be that high. It's probably going to be back here, but there's tangents right now. Okay. What is my memory? Oh shit. Okay. I'm gonna take a quick 5-minute break because I need to let my iPad charge a little bit and I need a snack. Because it's plugged in and it's supposed to be charging, but the streaming thing uses up so much power that it's killing it. So, I will be back soon. Everyone, go get a snack, go to the bathroom. Be back in like 5 to 10. Bye. What? That's interesting. On Streamlabs it's showing that I have nothing, but on my feed in Twitch it is. And that went away again. Hold on one second. Okay. Hold it. Now where the frick did it go? Alright, sorry folks, I have to do some maneuvering because for some reason it's not in the world. Okay, my iPad didn't charge too much, unfortunately, while I was out, but I can at least, I found the tutorial. So the tutorial thingy, or the thingy that I did that kind of talks about how I layer stuff. So yeah, the base color, and then if you start with line art, I do a line art on subtract. And then I have it, I blend it in to do a luminosity layer, and then that's if you have line art. You don't necessarily need line art. If you're not doing line art, you could just do the bottom and then the top, and then completely skip the two in the middle. But it's literally just like flat color, base color, and then all of them, that's literally all 4 layers making that. Okay. Does it make sense? Yes, that's what I was like. That's how my cheats and hacks way is just flat base color and then luminosity on top. It's not the most, like if I was doing something for an illustration, it's not something I would, like, do those 2 layers and call it one and done. Just because it tends to be a little flatter. head is still very warm. Okay. Do we have any other? I know White Knight said that they liked the segmented legs. I don't know if anyone else has opinions. I am leaning towards it because I think it's a little less chipified, I guess would be the terminology I'm thinking of. Raya hasn't even visited me in my office, so I know it's too hot. She's all like, nope, not doing that. She lives under the fan on the stairs right now. Okay, so I do like the new legs. I'm gonna set them aside for now just because that blocky color is working, but now I need to pull it into the rest of this, essentially. I'm just gonna darken up this background leg. I don't really need to detail these are just in the background, but they're a little too high contrast right now. So right now I just want them to be something generic. Okay, and now I need to figure out, I'm also gonna fade them. Yeah. I very, very rarely work on a white background. It just tends to stress my eyes out more. The dark gray works really well for being able to do what I just did, where I like lower that layer down. Just lower the opacity on it just enough to make it meld into there. Okay, I don't want to put the eye on the same layer, but I do want to blend it in a little bit better. Right now I'm keeping the eye separate just because I'm not totally positive if I'm keeping it, and I might do some like luminosity stuff with it later. Put some little bit of highlights in this Uzumaki nonsense. eyeball. Okay, let me see if it'll let me. I heard double notifications, but I just see the one eyeball, so I'm apologizing if somebody's in YouTube and it's not getting the chat now. It was. Just a very uncomfortable looking eyeball. Alright. Define these shapes a little bit better. Also, definitely not going to get this like 100% done on stream today, especially not today. Like, most, if you're making a larger creature, which this one isn't like the size of the giant hermit crabs, but I'm guessing it's like roughly manatee sized. So not small. So when you're doing something that's that big of a design, it's usually like a couple days task at work. Honestly, it kind of depends on how fast you get your feedback, but... we are doing another stream tomorrow. That should be another art stream. Yeah. So I could potentially work on this then. I actually have to do... I gotta do the wheel at some point. Choose which the next game is going to be. I totally forgot I was gonna do that when I came back from break. And then I was like, oh no, tutorial thingy instead. Good job, me. Okay. Alright, so I know I was thinking about doing the little, like, feeding on the bottom thing, but... what if? I'm very tempted to turn into Brandon. What if we buy fast food and disguise it as home cooking? Whatever he uses that. What if we beat this boy up? The colors on this are not even close to good right now. But I'm essentially thinking like more like a parrot beak. So bite the corals like a parrotfish. Gotta hop off for a bit. Good luck with the rest of the creature. Well, thank you. It does look really dumb when I do that, but that's not necessarily okay. I am gonna get the wheel out to decide on the next game, because I feel like I need to do that before it gets too late. Find it in my giant. Alrighty then. Oh. Good job. Alright, apologies for that. I accidentally closed Twitch. Good job, me. Alright. Spin the wheel. So I need to... This is making my computer run like butts right now. But we're going to spin the wheel for the game I'm going to play next. Hold on 1 second, I need to get it on the screen. Okay. So these are the games that I either have or have access to. So that have some kind of creature or monster in it. So Friday is the next game session of going through and breaking down stuff by doing what we did for Subnautica here with the reference board and the creature. So we wanna the wheel. So yes, I want to spin the wheel and get like 3 options, and then everyone can vote. Alright, so we have Still Wakes the Deep. Where is my Streamlabs? Which I have already played, which would make it go a little bit faster. Let's spin it again. Blasphemous 2. Oh! I was trying not to hit. I can't spell blasphemous. I hit enter, so now I guess this is how I have to hit. Alright. And then one last spin. It is kind of surprising. I put like 3 games I've already played on here, or I guess 4, and it almost got to... and Prey. Alright, so those are the 3 options. I don't know how to do a poll. But we also have people on YouTube. So, post a chat which one you would like me to play next. And now I need to go back to Pikachu. Okay. So I think Still Wakes the Deep had a expansion, so that might be what I could do for that one. I think. I don't know if I want to do this beak. Yeah, I'll leave it till like the end of stream for people if you want to look them up. See which one has things you would like to have me talk about. You're between A and C. I think Prey would be kind of fun, because one of my friends did a bunch of the concepts for that. Still Wakes the Deep has some really... It would kind of be, I'd be able to use a lot of the references I have for this, for Still Wakes the Deep. So yeah, we have deep sea horror, we have, I don't really know how to describe Prey. Blasphemous is like, kind of like Diablo-esque. You're always biased to water creatures. Well, it's like Still Wakes, if you haven't seen Still Wakes the Deep, it is like deep sea horror, but it's also very much body horror. I have no idea what I'm doing with this mouth yet. Okay, this is starting to get... This is in the ugly phase right now. Sorry folks, everything goes through an ugly phase in art. Like, I guess I would describe Still Wakes the Deep as kind of like... a little bit like, The Thing. I think it is kind of based off of a, there's a really old radio horror. I can't remember from what radio. There was like a radio. I'm trying to think of like the modern equivalent would be the No Sleep podcast, but there was like an old radio show that was horror stories, and there was one on that about an oil rig, and I think that's kind of what Still Wakes the Deep is inspired by. But yes, I am very much a big fan of ocean horror. So when that game came out, that was one of the first games I played on stream. I think I played that and South of Midnight on stream. I had to find my VODs for that and put them up on YouTube. You love the head so much. Oh, it's still in the ugly phase of like, this looks rough right now. It's not the prettiest. Yes, I love South of Midnight. South of Midnight is also on the list. Like, I did put games that I've played that, like, still had creatures and monsters in it, because I was like, they're worth visiting. I'm very glad that studio managed to extract themselves. It's like I stayed away from, I think, mostly from MMOs. The closest I have on there is Fallout 76, and that's just because I play that game all the time, so I know exactly where I could go to go and look at the creatures. So, like, I could get, you know, a sampling of almost all the creatures in one session. But if I were to do that and say, wow, I would have no idea. See, like, I kind of want to get this kind of coloring that I have on these legs into the head more, so I might... Yeah, put the legs... The problem is the legs are kind of all-encompassing right now. I might move the legs. We're gonna disassemble it a little bit right now. But the legs are hard shell, and I don't have that much hard shell. You must dip. Well, I'm happy to have had you. Thank you so much for stopping by. What was your vote? Were you thinking Still Wakes the Deep was your choice? I can't talk right now. Or are you choosing A or C, I think were your two? Oh, I put that on the wrong layer. Ah! But yeah, I do have another stream tomorrow. I'll probably work on this a little bit more, depending on how hot it is. If it's too damn hot, I'm probably gonna pull out pencils, because I'm less getting stuck on them. Color block a little bit. And then I'll probably be here. We're probably gonna go for like another half an hour, because I have stuff I gotta get ready for tonight yet too. I got to D&D. This is not chiptunes. This is dubstep. Okay. I think I may have to. We're gonna sever a head. I need to figure out what the shell is doing. Is dubstep still around? Well, I mean, obviously, I'm listening to it on the chiptune station, but I'm just like, I haven't heard. I remember when I was in college. This is how you know how old I am. Dubstep was all the rage. And I don't know if anyone's really listened to it in a long, if it's been mainstream in quite a while. Okay, so we got that. I separated the head. Have to clean this up a little bit. Nope, cancel. What am I on? Oh, that's too big. Okay, it's actually, I managed to lasso this pretty damn well, which is nice. Alright, so I separated the head because, yes, I want to figure out what the shell's doing back there, but also I want to be able to do some outlining on these nudibranch antennas here. Possibly do some, like, I guess I'll show what I'm talking about. I was thinking about doing some kind of glow effects. I have way too many brush packs. I use like 2 of them. This is like a fast way of making things look semi-transparent. Which I've become somewhat of an expert on with what I've been drawing for Finji. I've been doing a lot of gooey things for Finji. Now while it's still selected, you use the smudge tool to give it some 3-dimensional form. back and knock in just a little bit of the detail I took out. And then you can kind of choose what you need to do. I usually end up doing add, but not always. Like honestly, overlay there I think works nicely just for giving it nice color right in there. So I'll duplicate that because I might use it later to give some more highlights, but for now, I'm going to leave that in there. But we're going to do that kind of texturing on its booty at some point. And we're also going... Oh, it turned on everything. Probably on these little... I think I'm just going to make this bigger. I'm not totally positive if I'm doing the noodly bits. The beak makes it look very derpy. So I don't know if I'm doing the beak. We'll see. For now I'm going to leave it blank because I am indecisive. That's probably something I will not decide on during this stream at least. Because that's one of those things where I'm like, I'm going to have to sit on that and figure out what the hell I'm doing. I was like, why would the legs not fit in here? Because I put them way the heck back there so I could see them. Oh, I did the color blocking and sample from them. That's why. That's not where they're actually going. That's just where they ended up for now. Well, I don't know. I do like this edge, but I feel like it needs to be further in. It's kind of echoing the shape from the nudibranch antennae. So that's a good thing to keep. I'm actually going to... Train the head down so I can see where the heck I'm drawing the shell underneath it. Doesn't have to be too clean right now, because this is just kind of like a... I don't know 100% if I'm going to keep this in. I might, just for the sake of like making a portfolio ready piece to have it be separated, but it's not 100% necessary. Okay. It has an idea. It's starting to look like a derpy beluga whale. Alright, we're gonna get at a weird angle for a little bit so I can get a clean edge on this. Alright, I don't want to do gills, because I noticed that is definitely something I did not see going through anything in Subnautica. I did not see any gills. So we're avoiding gills. Even though it looks like it would fit very well just putting gill plates right there. Alright. Alright, so I'm thinking I do bottom jaw beaky and more of a curtain, like a Wilford Brimley mustachy curtain. Oh my god. I don't know what's happening, but I don't hate it. Okay, bear with me for a second. I'm gonna do something random. I'm gonna start playing with shapes again. So right now it's kind of looking like a walrus, which is fine if this wasn't for Subnautica, because Subnautica is like, there isn't really anything mammalian. So I don't want to have it actually look like a walrus as much as I would really enjoy a Wilford Brimley face. I mean, walruses do have excellent faces, but okay, that's a little too... That's a... No. No. That's a little too weird. Idea number 2. I think what's throwing me is the eyes. I'm gonna turn that off for now. Alright, we're gonna do something. Take this. I'm gonna try something. It's so easy to just make this into a fish, and I don't want to make it into a fish so bad right now. But they don't have regular looking fish in the game. Curses. Alright, we're gonna segue a tiny bit so that I can essentially screenshot my nonsense that I want to do and save it for something else. This is kind of how it happens. Sometimes you want to draw something, but your mind really doesn't want to draw it. And you gotta, like, get out whatever idea it is that's haunting you. And then you're like, alright, I've done that idea, and then it will stop haunting you. Usually. Not always. But most of the time, yes. Because I had to do that the other night with, when I was supposed to be working. But I had this idea for this thing, and I couldn't work until I sketched that out. Okay, so we're going to turn off the body and the legs. I'm just going to save that. Also, I haven't named this file yet. We should do that. Subnautica. Yep. That's right. Alright, so... obviously that's not what's happening. That's way too human. Or I want to say, way too close to our fish. I was trying to get an angled face like a nautiloid. I'll put that out there for now, because I think I'm going to probably end up erasing some of this head to get this shape that I'm thinking of. Nope, nope, don't do that. I'm probably gonna have to not have the Wilford Brimley whiskers, just because it does immediately make it look like a goldfish. Sadness. Same with putting the eye right there. Have to think about how to do these shapes without invoking fish. Because while Subnautica has fish, none of them really look like fish. I need to look at their marrow beak and the mango again, but I'm trying to think if they all have 4 jaws. Let's see. Alright, it's two sets of jaws, but they're like 4 prongs. Okay. So like, they pretty much just go like this. Which, honestly, if I do that, it kind of immediately starts drawing in Subnautica, so that might work. I may have to rethink this lower jaw a little bit. Okay, I think I'm gonna shrink these down. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move some of the nudibranch things down and have that be where that shape actually comes into play. Because these aren't those seem to be most prominent on the predators, and this isn't necessarily a predator. At least not of the players. And then yeah, I'm gonna have to redo this lower jaw a little bit. To be more grindy. And right now he's very bitey. Oh, nope. Actually, I might not even have, I might just leave it like prongs down here. Kind of more like a crab mouth. Now to do what I was thinking about, which is like that better. It's like instantly going more snail and less fish. So I'll probably keep the side ones, but the top ones are migrated down. Okay. I'm going to smush these all together so that I can mess with it a bit easier. I'll keep that guy separate for now. Nope, nothing. I also feel like since this isn't one of the predators, I don't necessarily have to make this part black like they do. There's like definitely looks like the squid beak. I want this to be a little bit more parrotfish beak. More coral eater, less people eater. I might still do the snail eyes. I might just migrate it down here. Now at this point, I probably need to go through and clean up some of my layers, but this is usually where I duplicate the file. Just in case I end up changing my mind. I virtually never do. But every once in a while, I like keeping it just in case. Also, it's kind of nice to see, like, it's nice to see where I kind of started at and where I ended at. I'll show as like an example. I'm gonna find a stack. That wasn't the best example. I guess this one kind of shows like where I started at, which I still like this original concept, which is one of the reasons why I keep it. Like, this is still cool. It's just not what I ended up going with, or ended up turning it into this. Which this is also cool, just in its own way. There was one that was a big... Where is he? It's one I keep meaning to get back to. It's a very different style than what I usually do. Let's see how many Pegasus... The Pegasus had some changes. Where are you? I think this one started off... So this is where this one's at. And I'm like still kind of figuring out, it's a very cartoony style. not something I usually do, so it's taken me a while to kind of figure out how I'm doing it. This is where me like trying to figure it all out, and then this is where it started, which I also still like this one. But like I said, it's very different. And yes, I have a tendency to do weird horses. So yeah. Okay. I want to see, what did they do for the eyes? Alright, the eyes on that are just tiny little dots. They do have gills, just not gill plates. They're like, they almost look like a fillet of fish, but sideways. So let me see here. I'll kind of rough sketch that in right now, because I think this is pretty much where I gotta call it. I gotta feed the dogs, and recharge my iPad. Don't know if that's what I want, though. I think it's almost more like back here would be... Just gonna very roughly sketch it in there. I doubt I'll keep that, but... And then I might... I'm just gonna do an alternative eye. That's just... tiny dot! I'll probably stick with that eye. I just might migrate it around to see where I want to put it. But yeah, now's a good spot to essentially call it for a little bit, figure out what the heck I'm doing. I need to do some things like basic shading. After this point, like, I could probably start doing my luminosity layers details, like I mentioned before, my how I do details fairly quickly. Yeah. The head's still kind of evading me. I want to somehow get a nautiloid shape in there, but I'm not sure how. So I might revisit that. I do like it better than where it was. I might still move these other tentacles. They just might get migrated elsewhere. We'll see. But yeah, now's a good spot to call it. Think on it, dwell on it. This is something I usually do if I'm like getting a hole on a spot or on an idea, or I'm not totally positive. I do walk away for like a day, a few hours, a week. I don't know. This is why I have a tendency to go back to stuff several times. But I'm gonna call it here. Thank you everybody for tuning in. I'm probably not going to set this one up on Twitch afterwards. I'm going to try to, if I'm working on it tomorrow, I'm going to try to edit the videos together. And if I don't get to this one tomorrow, I'm going to at least edit in the time-lapse afterwards. And then put that up on YouTube. But yes, that's the plan. Alright. Bye-bye, everybody.